Television, your channel of choice.
Someone told me at the last count, there are about 53 radio stations within the broadcast landscape alone. And I said, yes, why not? We are here to make a difference. I said something yesterday, I was told when I was very young, that Ninu Obi, Latin Yoifi. Which means that in the committee of matters, the platinum stands top. It's top notch. You cannot compare the platinum to gold, to silver, to brass, or to anything. So Dominion is here to dominate in practical terms.
Odere koko àlàáfíà ni, bó wọlé ayọ̀ ni, atunilára gbẹ̀dẹ̀gbẹ̀dẹ̀. Hello guys, it's your girl Odere. Keep watching Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Beautiful people of Nigeria and our viewer across Africa and beyond. It's another bright day and promising Wednesday, the 23rd of July 2025, and you're watching Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. I am Pat Aito.
And I'm Oluwayemi Adelako. Thank you for joining us this morning. We are here to keep you informed, engaged and energized as we take you through today's most pressing issues, insightful headlines and all that important gist about today.
And now, before we get into the art of the show, let's take a quick look at the weather forecast for today. For those in Lagos, expect partly cloudy skies this morning with chances of light showers later in the afternoon, high of 31 degrees Celsius and low around 24 degrees Celsius. And in Abuja will be mostly sunny with some cloud cover, temperature hitting 33 degrees Celsius. So wherever you are, dress smart and stay hydrated.
Exactly. Thank God it's Wednesday. We're already halfway through the week. And what a week it's been in Nigerian politics and public discourse. So much to unpack on today's show.
And absolutely, like we do every morning, we kick things off with Daybreak News, bringing you all the latest development from across Nigeria and the globe. From governors and economy to security and diplomacy, our news roundup will bring you up to speed.
Definitely. Then it's time to open up the dailies. Yes, we'll take a look at the newspaper headlines and analysis, picking out the key stories shaping conversations nationwide. And of course, from court judgment to party conventions, economic figures, and of course, political drama.
Well, speaking of political drama, our big story this morning is one that continues to reshape Nigeria's democratic space. Political realignment in Nigeria, defections, alliances, and emerging collisions. Just as we gear up towards 2027, the chessboard is shifting and power blocks are forming.
Definitely. And to help us unpack all of these, we'll be joined by Oluwaseun Oluwole, a respected public affairs analyst who will walk us through what these defections and new alliances mean, both for the major political parties and for everyday Nigerians watching from the sidelines.
Well, is this just another round of political music chairs, or is it Nigerian heading towards a major ideological shift? Is it strategy, survival, or sincere service? You don't want to miss that conversation.
Of course, you don't want to miss that. And after that, we'll dive into Trend Watch, where we scan social media, public opinions, and current affairs to track the issues Nigerians are passionate about. Trust us, it's never a dull moment in this country.
Well, we urge you to grab your coffee, and notepad, or maybe just a smile. It's time to start your day the Dominion way. You are watching Daybreak Live on Dominion Television here in Ibadan. So we're saying good morning.
Good morning to you, and you can keep the conversation going by visiting our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, @Dominion Broadcast, and on X, Dominion Cast. Do want to drop your comment. We'll read them on the show.
All right, we'll definitely want to read from you. We'll love to hear from you this morning.
Exactly. Good morning,
Good morning. A lot has been happening.
Yes, really.
We have this drama that happened at the National Assembly yesterday, talking about the Kogi senator representing the Kogi Central, the Natasha Poti-Uduaghan, seeing her at the National Assembly. Before that period, we have the chairman committee of the Media and Public Affairs, that's in person of Yemi Adaramodu, saying that we don't want to see her around the premises, the National Assembly premises. But she insisted in going there to I want to show my face. I want to see what will happen, and a lot did happen yesterday.
Exactly. I already knew she was not going to be allowed. Looking at the stance of the Senate, and of course, I think she also informed the IGP that, you know what, I'm going there on Tuesday to resume my duties. However, I used to say that sometimes cases can be sorted in court and remain unresolved when it comes to politics within, because the Senate is standing on the fact that the judgment of the court is not mandatory, it is advisory. And of course, when I watched an interview with Aisha Yusuf, she was with her on that day when they went to the court, and she said it appears some of the things that the judge said was edited out of the CTC, the certified true copy, according to what she said. And she also feels like why should a judge in Nigeria not give straight judgment on cases and talk about, okay, looking at this case, I think that was what she said. But I feel like Senator Akpabio is standing on the fact that, okay, you have gone to the court for this, I can still appeal it. So there was a cross appeal that he did on the case, and Senator Akpabio is standing on the fact that, you see, if you don't follow what the court asks you to do, that is pay a fine of 5 million naira. Publish an apology on two major national dailies. Exactly. And of course, I think one other thing that he mentioned, if you don't do that, we are not going to allow you to resume your duties. I also read a story this morning. Well, there was a report that Senator Natasha said she would not apologize. She would rather stay for 6
months. So why are you at the National Assembly when you actually know exactly what you wanted to do? But what you said, Aisha Yusuf, that's the convener of the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls, was actually at the courts initially, and she was even there with her yesterday, confronting the police officers. And if things got out of hands yesterday,
it almost got out of hand, because in the beginning it was civil. It got to a point whereby I think one man was arguing with other persons, say, don't touch me, don't do this, don't do that, really. And they asked the guy that came to tell that you can't enter. The guy didn't even say much. Honestly, it's a lot to undo. I feel we should not get to this point. If it's going to resort to an apology, that will help you go back to duties and, of course, serve your people.
But looking at Senator Natasha, you know that she's adamant that she will not. I thought that she storming the National Assembly with supporters, even with the, what's it called, the activist, there's Aisha Yusuf going there. She should have known better, being a lawyer and a person and a senator representing a federal lawmaker. She should have known better that this thing is not like this. You can interpret that well because you're a lawyer.
Yeah.
Interpret the legal impasse being given at the court. But then, to a layman, they can't. And of course, there should be a separation of power, which the court is actually trying to work on. Like, okay, fine, there's separation of power. We can't execute, or we can't pass, or we can't jump this issue of, okay, legislature and executive. You both have, there should be check and balances. It's okay. But separation of power is quiet. It's something that we need to follow. There's a limitation for the court to say, okay, yes, you need to reinstate her. For you to be suspended, there was a resolution. And for you to be reinstated, there should be a resolution as well from the lawmaker, I mean from the Senate. She should have waited and see, fine, you know you can't do what they ask you to do. That is paying 5 billion and publishing an apology from the two, what's it called, two national dailies.
Yes.
Now, you know you can't do that, and you're clamoring that your people that you represented are not well represented in the Senate. Is it that two-way things? Yoruba will say, so
because of the people, she could
people you represented, she could have apologized and let.
I believe if she had done that, before now, maybe the Senate will maybe, try to say, okay, you can now come back. Might not be immediately, or they might try to look at it. But this one she's doing, I think it's going to result to more issues. Even when she's finally reinstated, she might still have issues within the house.
Because you're doing all this, we have like 4 females in the house of Senate.
Out of 109.
Out of 109.
Yeah.
Nobody is coming to say, okay, yes, we'll fight for you being a woman. Is that not a serious issue that she should just
Another thing that you mentioned slightly is the fact that most of our supporters, they don't really understand what the court ruling says. I mean, all they know is that Natasha wants to resume and we are going to follow her. Aisha Yusuf on national TV said that we are going there. I'm going there with her. If the Senate wants to kill us, they should go ahead. That was what she said. So it's a lot to unpack. I just hope that this will not lead to more issues, or maybe our supporters coming out to protest over this matter. The Senate is very firm that, you know what, if you don't apologize and do what the court asks you to do, you are not coming back. And that's
let's see how it pans out, how it plays out during, how it plays out at the court. Let's see if the court will be direct to know exactly when she will be reinstated, or perhaps she will, like she said, that she's not going to apologize. She will stay for 6 months. Let's see how it plays out. Of course, you can join the conversation via our social media handles of Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at DominionCast. And of course, you can watch us live on www.dominion.org.ng. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Good morning and welcome to Daybreak News on Dominion Television. I am Pat Aito. The Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke and the members of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Osun State have endorsed President Bola Tinubu as their candidate for the 2027 general election. Adeleke made this known in the post shared via his X handle, stating that the agreement was made after a caucus meeting. Addressing speculations about his affection to another party, Adeleke reaffirmed his commitment to PDP as the platform that allowed him to serve, and he has also been endorsed for the second-term elections coming up in 2026. The federal government has revealed that privately owned computer-based tech centers and others belonging to public institutions will be fully deployed in the conduct of the school-based senior school certificate examination by next year. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tuji Alausa, made this known after monitoring a pilot CBT SSCE conducted by the National Examinations Council at the Saxcon International School, Maitama in Abuja. Alausa, who hailed NECO for the seamless conduct of the pilot phase of the CBT SSCE, said that future school-based SSCEs would be moved to designated CBT centers rather than being held within schools. Oyo State Governor Engineer Seyi Makinde has paid an official condolence visit to the family of the late Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Olabi Olakule, who passed away on the 7th of July 2025. The visit took place at the late monarch's residence in Alalubosa, Ibadan. During the visit, Governor Makinde expressed his heartfelt sympathies to the Olakule family, and the Olubadan Council reflected on his administration effort to stabilize and strengthen the Ibadan traditional institution. Earlier in his remarks, the Balogun of Ibadan land, High Chief Tajuddin Ajibola, thanked Governor Makinde for his consistent support to the traditional institution and its development strides across the city. The condolence visit was attended by members of the State Executive Council, board chairpersons, and local government chairmen from across Ibadan. The Oyo State House of Assembly will begin a 6-week recess on July 31st, 2025, in line with its legislative calendar. The Speaker, Right Honorable Adebo Ogundoyin, announced the break during the plenary at the Assembly Complex in Ibadan, stating that lawmakers will continue working from the constituencies. Ogundoyin thanked members for their dedication and urged them to use the recess to engage with constituents and monitor ongoing projects. Plenary is set to resume on the 16th of September 2025. The Oyo State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, has issued a warning to residents in flood-prone areas to the state, urging them to prepare for heavy downpour and potential flooding. The Administrative Secretary of SEMA, Oju Olakbe Busari, in a statement had said data from Oyo State Flood Early Warning System indicates that communities to the east and northeast of Ibadan City Center are expected to experience the most intense rainfall. SEMA assured residents that the agency, alongside other government bodies, voluntary organizations, and civil society groups, is ready to respond to any emergency and support affected communities. A journalist and publisher in Ibadan, Dapo Falade, has highlighted the complexities of creating 12 new states in Nigeria, emphasizing the constitutional requirements that must be met. Falade stated this in an interview with Dominion News, noting that 24 out of 36 states need to be approved before state creation can be considered.
There is, National Assembly, both the Senate and the House of Reps, they've been talking about. They said they've given the accent to 12 more states. But like I said, that is not our problem. Let us have even as many as 100 states. It can never foster development and growth. Rather, we should concentrate on what and how we can make the states, the existing states, to be feasible.
He We however stated that the government should focus on important issues rather than the creation of states. And on business, the Dangote oil refinery has begun exporting premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, to other countries of the world. President of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, disclosed this at an event, stating that between June and July 2025, the refinery exported up to 1 million tons of petrol. Dangote's commitment is coming amid claims that the refinery could not meet local petrol demands. While Dangote exports PMS, other marketers still import the product into Nigeria. Dangote has since started the export of aviation fuel to Europe and Saudi Arabia. And in sport, Pacesetter Queens FC Oyo State Premier Female Football Club has been officially unveiled at a press conference in Ibadan. The event showcased the club's new logo, introduced its dynamic leadership team, and outlined an ambitious vision to transform women's football in Nigeria. The Honorable Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Wasilat Adegoke, presided over the unveiling, expressing profound gratitude to Governor Seyi Makinde for his steadfast support. The newly appointed leadership team, a group of seasoned professionals, was introduced as the backbone of the club's future. Head coach Akinwumi Obajame leads the technical staff, joined by first assistant coach Damilola Olaitan Badmus, a former player with CAF C license, and second assistant coach Zacchaeus Aderoju, among others. Adegoke announced strategic plans, including a one-month trial period for aspiring players, with a team bus to be provided post-trials.
It is a great honor for me to welcome everyone to this very important occasion of the press conference to unveil the Oyo State female logo and the new leadership of the club. Each of these officials was carefully selected based on experience, potentials, and shared commitment to nurturing talent.
Always know that you can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. And that is the Daybreak News. Thank you so much for watching. Good morning. All right, good morning once again, and of course, welcome to News Support Headlines on the program Daybreak Live on Dominion Television here in Ibadan. Of course, welcome once again. This is where we get you to know what is happening in our national dailies across Nigeria and the globe. Well, we have this coming from this Nigeria saying that, I'm sorry, you can't go in. With a rider, security locks out Natasha from riders. Security locks out Natasha from NAS amid reinstatement row. And we have this one. I will seek appeal court's interpretation of judgment, says embattled senator. Exactly what we said before we went for that daybreak news. Like, fine, you understand. You are the only one that understand that can interpret what the court said. To a layman, we don't know. We only saw it. It is not something they said, okay, they should reinstate you immediately. The resolution gave you suspension. And that's the same resolution that the resolution in the Senate should be the one to say, okay, we'll reinstate you after you've done XYZ. And the XYZ here that the court said you should pay 5 million naira and, of course, publish an apology letter from the national dailies. To national dailies. That's not so simple for you to do. But let's see how it plays out. And this Nigeria is saying that Adeleke backs Tinubu for 2027, gets PDP endorsement for 2026. And that's on page 15 of this Nigeria. And this one has been back and forth, Adeleke in PDP and is backing President Tinubu, who is in APC. So people are like, why are you doing this? The hardship people are facing in the country is actually caused by this man. And you are still backing him up. And he came to say, fine, the president is partly from Osun State. Do you have to look at that? Sentiment apart, let's look at the people you are governing. How well are they faring under this administration? And now, some people have come to say, oh, hardship have been everywhere is tense and no money, economic downturn. And now you come in, you being the face of Osun State, saying that you're going to back President Bola Tinubu for 2027 election. Don't forget, Osun State election will come up 2026. That's on page 15 of this Nigeria. Away from this Nigeria, still away from that story, we have this one. Senate secures federal government pledge to pay NPower 81 billion naira backlog. That's on page 15. This is so serious. I remember the NPower that year. That was actually okay just to empower people that do not have job, unemployed people. And now we are saying 81 billion naira backlog. It's so saddened. Well, the last one, not really the last one. Well, down below this Nigeria, we have Wike to Okpebolo. Focus on development, ignore distractions. And a rider will be notifying me before visiting Edo, not threat. Governor is saying that. I think I listened to what was it called? I can't really remember. The man was just coming back and forth like, hey, we don't know that Obi was in Edo State. But now Governor is saying that Obi notifying me before visiting Edo, not threat. So why the problem? Well, the last one, the economic side, we have Nigeria loses $18 billion annually to illicit financial flows. Minister is talking that, I guess Minister Wale, Minister talking there. I'm not really sure of the minister that is actually saying this. And that is on page 12 of this Nigeria. Well, away from this Nigeria, we'll move to the Matrix. And the Matrix is talking about, big one here is still talking about Natasha. You remain suspended. Senate tells Natasha. 3 riders there. This is another skit making. Content creation by our colleague, Senate. And second rider there, Akpabio cannot be greater than Nigerian Constitution. Akpoti Uduaghan is saying that, and she too cannot be bigger than what the Senate wants or what the courts actually told her to do. And anybody that wants to fight with Klingans must come with We want to fight. We must come with fight equity. It must come with clean hands. And we have this one. Senate approves Tinubu's $21 billion loan for 2025 budget. All that on page 2 of the matrix. And away from that, we have this one. Amid outrage, Okpebholo insists Obi should notify him before visiting Edo. That's on page 2. Why? Okay. Adeleke Sean APC declares 2026 re-election bid on PDP platform. And that's on page 8 of the matrix. Well, I saw that ADC was actually angry with Adeleke. Why are they angry? The man said, I want to remain PDP. But then my support is for Mr. President. That's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And away from that, we have this one is coming, sycophants, milling around Tinubu, not telling him the truth. If it's a chieftain, that's on page 3 of the matrix. A lot there. From the business side, we have this as a top part of the paper, the matrix. We have African losing $90 billion annually to imported substandard fuel. Dangote laments and says Dangote refinery imports 9 to 10 million barrels of crude monthly from the US. Others. And let's quickly look at that. If you want to grab a copy of the matrix. And away from that, let's head straight to the Nation newspaper. Nation newspaper comes with a different headline, and this one is politics. APC, PDP kickstart 2027 plans with key NEC meetings. APC NEC meeting will come up tomorrow, where a new chairman, you remember we have Dalori being an interim chairman for the APC. So tomorrow they'll finalize who is going to head who is going to be the chairman of the APC, national chairman of the APC. Remember that Ganduje resigned due to health issues, but then some people were actually saying that this is politics playing out there. Well, let's see how it pans out tomorrow. And with the rider, Ganduje's replacement, standing committee top ruling party agenda, and PDP pushes for cohesion after Atiku others exit. And that's page 2 of the Nation. And the Nation newspaper has this. We have this Natasha issue as well. And away from that, Natasha supporters create scene at National Assembly entrance. That's on page 3 of the Nation. And we have President to inaugurate cancer centers in Katsina, Bini, Nsukka. That's the health side of the story from there. That's on page 2. If you want to read more, pick a copy of the Nation. And politics side here, Adeleke Oyinlola, Osun PDP leaders backs Tinubu's re-election. And we have this from the CBN. 8 banks meet recapitalization threshold. And with the rider, MPC retains interest rate of the parameters. Apex Bank targets single digits inflation. Well, you can read more at page 2 of the Nation. Away from the Nation, we head straight to the Nigerian Tribune. Nigerian Tribune's headline is quite interesting. Confusion persists over APC NEC meeting and a rider there. Governors, NWC and DAC over caucus. And that's on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. And he has this story as well. Osun PDP leaders endorse Tinubu Adeleke for second term. That's on page 5. And on health, we have owning the smartphone before age 13 linked to poor mental health. That's serious. We need to read more. You want to read more on that? Pick a copy of the Nigerian Tribune, and it's on page 5. And we have external reserves hit 40.1 billion in July. That's central bank is talking. The central bank governor is saying that external reserves hit $40.1 billion in July. And we have this 2 riders there. Apex Bank maintains leading rate at lending rate at 27.5%. That's huge. It says 8 banks have met recapitalization requirement. Read more on page 6. And it still has this one. Federal government issues fresh flood alert for 28 states. And that's on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. And lastly from there, we have Okpebholo insists Obi must inform him before visiting Edo. Read more on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune. We head straight to the Guardian. Guardian, suspense. As Tinubu APC NEC meets over zoning the new chairman. That's on page 6. Remember, we have the likes of the invention of APC then, I mean, the emergence of APC, we have the likes of Baba Bisi Akonde being the chairman. We have John Odie Oyego as the chairman, and back to Adams Oshiomhole and to Ganduje. Back and forth. So let's see who is going to be the new chairman for the APC. The meeting will hold tomorrow, and we have that. That is on page 6 of the Guardian. And from the Guardian, we have that ICC renovation and renaming of public asset. That's an editorial from the editorial page of the Guardian. You want to read more on that. We have this one from the U.S. Stakeholders warn of setback for Nigeria, Africa, as U.S. exits UNESCO. Why? Page 6 of the Guardian, and we have this one. Nigeria loses 18 billion to multinational tax evasion yearly. Economic side of the Guardian is talking about that. And we have 210 trillion naira scandal. Senate accuses NNPCL CEO defiance, gives 24-hour ultimatum. Page 5 of the Guardian. The insecurity is still biting hard. Benue killings, 3,160 displaced, 48 homes destroyed, says federal government. That's as a result of insecurity battered around that area. And we'll have the Senate approves Tinubu's $21.8 billion loan plan, 758 billion naira pension board amid soaring debts concern. That's on page 3 of the Guardian. And let's move straight to the Punch. The Punch has this. Politics. APC Mepi Ganduje's successor at make or break neck meeting. And we have those vying for the post. Al-Makura, Yulwada, Dalori, Toperays, lobbying tickings, and we have North Central demand slots. Constitution review on NEC agenda. Those are the things that we need to discuss at the NEC meeting that will hold tomorrow. And another one, Israeli protest in Tel Aviv over Gaza food shortages. And that's on page 3 of the page 2 of the Punch. And from the Punch, we have article 1's Okpebholo. Wike insists on Obi's visit clearance. Wike. Yes, some Wike. Okay, that's on page 7 of the Punch, and we have Natacha heads to court after Senate blockade. That's on page 3. And lastly, from the Punch, we have ADC boils over Tinubu's endorsement by Adeleke and Oyelola. And the economic side of the story, we have Dangote exports 1.3 billion liters petrol as marketers buy foreign fuels. And lastly, we have Senate okays Tinubu's $21 billion foreign loans. Pick a copy of the Punch to read more, and that's on page 2 of the Punch. Away from the Punch, we head straight to the Daily Independent. Daily Independent is coming with some politics here as well. 2027 election, PDP finally zones presidency to the south. Riders holds neck to address issues bedeviling party. Founding fathers move to reclaim party's legacy. That's the Riders. Then Southeast, PDP disowns Odefa as national vice chair ahead of NEC. And we have The last one here, Governor Adeleke Osun PDP endorsed Tinubu for second term, and that's on page 29 of the Daily Independent. That's, well, a lot's happening, and you can read more or pick a copy of our national dailies and read more of the story that resonates with you. Of course, we'll be back with analysis as our political anchor and analyst is in the building. He's a very known, somebody that you know too well. He's right there in the building. We'll be back after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's still Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. Of course, we've given you what the papers are saying this morning. We head straight to the analysis. Like I said before we went on that break, that our political anchor is here, Mr. Samson Balogun.
Well, good to be here in the studio. Good morning. To talk. Yeah, good morning to you. And of course, it's nice to be here to talk about happenings in Nigeria, and of course, dissect every headline that makes sense to the people.
All right. Well, let's pick this one. It's politics from the Punch. Tomorrow, the APC NEC meeting will happen. And we have APC Mepi Ganduje's successor at Make or Break NEC meeting. And we have Makura, Yilwada, Dalori, Top Race, lobbying tickets. And North Central demand slots. And Constitution review on NEC agenda. How does the APC zoning arrangement influence the selection of its national chairman?
You see, it's a make or mar meeting, and the outcome of the meeting will actually decide if the APC are a serious party ahead of the next election, 2027.
How do you mean by if APC is a serious party? At least we have the presidents coming from that party. So definitely they don't want that that seat should go to go away from them. So how do you mean by?
You see, sometimes we make a joke of serious matters, especially in the political landscape in Nigeria, and that is one of the things that we have done repeatedly. And this moment is actually, a delicate one for the sitting All Progressives Congress. And well, even though the opposition party, which is meant to be the PDP, is growing increasingly weak on a daily basis, but that is not, a basis for the APC not to do the right thing at the NEC meeting. Now, with Abdullah Umar Ganduje given another appointment as the chairman of FAN, and Dalori coming in as acting as interim, chairman of the APC, I see Dalori remaining as the chairman because as it stands, there are. Is
Dalori from North Central? Because North Central is demanding.
He's not from North Central, but when you look at what initially happened, the chairmanship was meant to go to the North Central. But of course, one thing happened, and then Abdullah Umar Ganduje was compensated with that position just because he could not make the ministerial appointment. It was not passed on the floor of the House. So he has to get an appointment, and then he was made a chairman. But be that as it may, as it happened that way, The North Central also got an appointment. George Akume is from the North Central. He is the SGF to the federal government. So in one way or the other, the North Central was settled in the whole scheme of things, even though they got other appointments.
I mean, federal character.
Though not so big, but at least they got other appointments too. But right now, there are insinuations that some permutations and combinations are being made ahead of the next election. The PDP, you know, even though it looks like, you know, the party is growing weaker by the day, but the APC is building, the ADC is building momentum. We have some big wigs in the political landscape in Nigeria moving to the ADC, even though they are not even sure they are going to contest an election under that political party, but at least they are coming together to say, look, we want to unseat the sitting president. The idea now is that having the likes of Rotimi Amechi that knows a lot about the APC, he was one of the founding members, having someone like Malam Nasir El-Rufai and Atiku Abubakar recently resigned and joined the coalition, a host of other people who you can't even start to mention. They are just so much there. Rauf Aregbesola, former Senator David Mark, all of them, they are still there. But the issue now is that the APC would want to strategize and be in a strategic position to win the next election. And what will happen is, who is the next big fish that will come into the party and then make a difference that has numbers? And that is Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. So in Kano State, is, you know, with the less popular political party, he, you know, won the election for his anointed candidate, which is Abba Yusuf, which is the current, chairman, governor of Kano State. And his relevance in Kano State and some other states close to Kano, you know, at least to an extent in Sokoto and all of that, is still there. So if the APC brings Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso into the political party, it means that they have to compensate the Northeast, which is where Borno State, which is where Dalori is from, and then the current vice president might just not run with the president. That means that Kwankwaso might replace him as a vice presidential candidate.
Well, Mr. Sampson, there is something you may mention that's okay, fine, that's possibly Dalori might be given the national chairmanship position for the APC, and Dalori is not from the North Central. Don't you think this will mar the votes that the APC president will get from that North Central? Being as, let's look at the history of politics in Nigeria, that's mostly the votes that you get from the North Central is a big one.
You see, I'm not saying it's not a big one, but when you look at the vote block in Nigeria, let's talk about when late former President Muhammadu Buhari was contesting. You realize the fact that his 12 million votes was always from the north. A huge block of his 12 million votes was always from the north, and that includes not too much from the North Central, just a few from the North Central, from the Northeast, from the Northwest. Was always combing those areas with coming back with votes. So it tells you that they are a voting block on their own. The North Central, they are always divided across party lines. Sometimes you see APC, PDP, or probably some lesser political parties also at least winning 1 or 2 seats, whether rep or something. So they are not always coming together, like the South also, who are always the PDP political, you know, stuff, unless Abga comes in to win 1 or 2 in Anambra, you understand. So it's more or less like it's a bulk vote coming from there, and the APC must try as much as possible to lock down that location, and that's what they are doing. See, they can always compensate the North Central with something else, just like they did with George Akume, giving them, you know, the SGF position. They can always do that again, and to make sure that if the current vice president, Kashi Shettima, is dropped ahead of the next election, then they still have someone who can also comb votes for them in that area, and that is Dalori. At least you cannot be the chairman of a political party with, the technical know-how you have, with the people you know, and still not be able to get some votes from that area. And those are the areas where the APC got, a huge number of votes. Don't forget, the sitting president lost his home state, which is Lagos, in the last election. So it tells you that it is not about who is given what, it's about how you give it to them and what you want them to do. See, he's a strategist. He knows that is not going to get the number of votes he got in the Northeast, Northwest come the next election, because even the other political parties who are meant to be the opposition, they are disintegrating one way or the other. The PDP is, this is the weakest PDP I have seen in about 20 or 30 years. And this, for me, ADC will be another Labour Party. whether they like it or not, they're probably going to come third or second, distant third or
well,
second.
So before we leave that particular headline, let's just look at it. Peradventure tomorrow, somebody wins the new leadership, national chairman for the APC. Okay, how do you assess the APC's chances of consolidating its power and improving its electoral performance with the new leadership that will emerge tomorrow? You see,
when it comes to consolidation of power in the political landscape in Nigeria, it's you always, no matter how many people leave your political party, you must always know that more people must come in. So as some are leaving, some are coming in. So it's just that some of these things are underreported in some cases. Recently, we have seen people leaving the PDP for the APC. But then what you see more is that people are leaving the APC for probably ADC. But some of these things have been recently. I think that was yesterday or day before yesterday. A sitting senator in a state in the southwest left his political party, went to the APC. These are things you would not really see that much of, but these are people who have won election for some time. They probably second or third time. It means that they are political gladiators where they are coming from. It means that no matter how little it is, they are still going to deliver for the president in the next layer. And the reason is also combing and harvesting governors, sitting governors in their state, is because, one, as sitting governor, you have the fund to campaign for election. Recently, there was a UBEC was saying, oh, we released 250 billion naira for state governors to improve education in their state. But none of them have said PIM on the paper. So it tells you that some of them are actually keeping the money aside for the election. Regardless of whether you like it or not, the president knows that he needs people who are going to be his foot soldiers. And those are the governors. And when the governors are decamping to the APC, they are not coming alone. They are coming with their House of Assembly members. They are coming with their commissioners. They are coming with their councillors. They are coming with their local government chairman. And where do you get these votes? At the local government level. So he knows, he's a strategist. He knows what exactly he needs to do. Yes, the so-called big names in the political ecosystem might say, oh, we are leaving. But hey, if you are leaving, your trainees who you trained are still with the president. They are still in their states. All
right, let's see how it's folds there. At ADC boys over Tinubu's endorsement by Adeleke Oyinlola. Make us understand something about the main politics here. What makes Oyinlola, Demola Adeleke, that's governor of Osun State, what are the reasons for them to say, oh, we'll endorse this man for its second term?
You see, Osun's case is a little bit complicated.
How?
The problem is there are insinuations that Demola Adeleke was lobbying to move across carpet into the APC.
Well, he has come to say that he came out
to say that. You see, the fact that people do not have the information you expect them to have gives him the plausible deniability to say it never happened. And that's exactly what you are saying. If you were on the internet, I think that was less than 2 months from here, you realize the fact that Davido is uncle Demola Adeleke, who is the governor of Osun State, his brother, who is the Adeleke senior. They were in Abuja. They were meeting with everybody who has a lot to do with the APC. They met with Godswill Akpabio. They met with the Vice President Kashim Shettima. They met with the president himself. So you cannot tell me he only went to tell the president that, oh, look, I'm not coming to your political party and I'm going to endorse you. No, they were negotiating.
But that played out in the first election.
Initially, I think it was on this show I said it, that you might just see Adeleke saying tomorrow morning that, oh, I'm not crossing to the APC, I'm still in the PDP, and they will still win the election. You know why? He still has the public sympathy in Osun State. I have always said it that he has no business crossing to the APC, and he will still win the election. Because the APC in Osun State are so weak that they cannot win against an Adeleke in Osun State as I speak, because they are divided. They are divided. And when you look at the situation now, which of the candidates in Osun will come out and say, I can defeat Adeleke? Now, just bring one. Because one of the candidates is Bao, who has been in the House of Representatives, I think for 20 years, and it's people from, I think from Obokun saying, look, you have been there for a long time and we have not really seen anything you have done. So that same person will come and say, well, I want to be governor, and they are still going to vote? Or is it Oyetola that they kicked out of office, at least by vote? They told him, look, we have seen enough of you, you have to leave. And that's what they did by voting for Adeleke. So as of now, he still has the public sympathy. So even by saying, oh, I'm not going to the APC, people see him as being loyal. They see him as the people's governor. And for that reason, some people who didn't want to vote for him before will now vote for him. So he has gathered another set of sympathizers who are going to vote for him, just based on the fact that he said he's not going to the APC. But be that as it may, the complexity of the political permutation in Osun State cannot be overemphasized. The chances of the APC winning is very slim. Don't forget, one of the reasons they lost the governorship election in Osun State in the first place was that Rauf Aregbesola, who happens to be a strong hold in Osun State, a power broker in Osun State, decided that, look, I'm not endorsing anybody, even though it was eventually clear that one way or the other his body language spoke in one direction. He said, I'm not going to be a part of this election and I'm not endorsing anybody, and he stepped aside. And it was meant to be one of those who will say, oh, my followers, this is what you will do, come and vote for so-so person. But then his own faction of the APC in Osun State, they stood back and even worked against the candidate of the APC. So it tells you that the APC, unless if the president intervenes, brings everyone back together, and then they start their door-to-door campaign, because I don't see how they can defeat Adeleke with the current state of political permutations in Osun State as we speak.
Well, Mr. Sase, you saw the drama that happened at the Senate yesterday when Natasha heads to, Natasha now said he's going to court after Senate's blockade. What do you have to say concerning that? You see, every day it's disheartens me that someone like Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, who is meant to know so much, behaves like she knows little. She's a barrister at law. She understands when there's a court judgment that says this is what you have to do. What she went to do? At least she can interpret better than any other person, and she has multitude of legal practitioners who would interpret that for her. So what she went to do at the Senate yesterday was to just make a mockery of the country called Nigeria. I mean, I'm so disappointed in a person like that. Mockery? How? Because she knows what exactly was she doing there. She knows, unless you apologize, publish on 2 major newspapers, and do that again on your Facebook page where you posted the satirical message you sent to the Senate president, you will never be allowed back on the floor of the House. So what was she doing there? She has come to say, oh, for now, I think I will just wait. Instead of me apologizing or doing all that, I would rather stay for my 6 months to extend. Then what was she doing at the gate? What was she doing at the gate? That is, for me, I think that's a disappointment. Should not happen. I mean, a senator should not do that. She should know better. And if a senator of her kind, even an average senator in Nigeria who knows nothing, should not do what she did yesterday. It was just for the camera. She just wanted to make noise. But she was talking that the particular legal umpers that was given said she should be reinstated. She should be reinstated by doing what she has been told to do by the court. You will be reinstated, but you have to do this. It's there now. Even a layman can interpret that. But she's a barrister at law, even though she's not practicing, and there are so many other people who will tell her the truth. And what is she doing? She's trying to gain some sympathy, gain cheap popularity, I would call that, because it is not necessary, absolutely unnecessary. But we have the convener of the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls there. I mean, talking about Aisha Yusuf. She's always looking for clout. I would say that. She's looking for a place where she will be seen. Aisha Yusuf has always, even sometimes when a campaign that really does not concern her, she's always there. So I'm not really perturbed by Aisha Yusuf being there yesterday. She only went there to add, fire to whatever it is that is there. But the truth of the matter is, let's not be sentimental. If the court said, oh, look, the suspension, 6 months suspension is too much, she has to be reinstated. But you that was suspended, before you go back to the floor of the House, do this, do that, then why the problem? I don't think anyone will say, oh, I do not understand what the court has said, because it was so plain for a layman to understand.
So if you have gone to the gate of the Senate saying, look, I have to enter where?
Well, we'll look at the Senate now. Out of 109, we have 4 or 5 female. I think 4. We have the Ireti Kingibe and Natasha and 2 others. We're being there as a senator. Does this not baffles you that why are the females not supporting her?
That tells you exactly what is going on. It's not like they are being silenced. If co-female senators are saying, look, you are on your own on this
they
one.
just feel like, oh, because we are few in number, so we
No,
will not
it's not
be able
about
to
few
talk.
in number. It's not about few in number. Ireti Kingibe is no pushover when you talk about senators. She's no pushover. So you know who you are talking to when you are talking about Ireti Kingibe. So if she talks on the floor of the House, at least she gets the kind of respect she deserves. But if an Ireti Kingibe says, look, on this one you are on your own, it means something. She must have done something, and she must have said something. Probably at one point or the other disrespected 1 or 2 of these senators, and they are like, oh, just be on your own on this one. See, Nigerians are not wicked people. Nigerians, no matter how bad a Nigerian is, you will still see the feeling of being a Nigerian there. They are always there for one another at one point or the other. But if all the one who hates remaining senators on the floor of the House, no one is supporting you. No one, not even one. What exactly is the problem? It's not like they have been bullied to silence. Because at one point or the other, we have a sitting senator that went on a certain TV and started saying a lot of things about the president, a lot of things about the APC, and nobody has said anything. But in fact, he has not been suspended because of that. So it means that they all have, the freedom to say what they feel, think, or what they feel like the government should do differently. So if you are now here and nobody is supporting you, the court has said this and you are not doing it, the stubbornness alone is, in fact, she can be held for contempt of court with what she's doing. What she's doing, there's a judgment. Follow the judgment. As long as the judgment favors you, don't make a mockery of the wretched man.
And the thing you've been asked to do,
just do it.
If you know you can't
if
do
you
it,
could, if you could send a satirical note to the Senate president, post it on your social media and do. So what stops you from posting an outright apology on your Facebook page? It reduces nothing. It takes nothing away from you.
You were not here this morning when I told Yemi, when we were having banter on it. I said, Yemi, because you are clamoring that the people that put you there, that vote you there, they are not well represented ever since you left the Senate. So do the needful. Well, let's quickly look at this one. Senate OK Tinubu's, before I let you go, this is the economy side. Senate OK Tinubu's $21 billion foreign loans. What's this talking to us about? Would this loan, would a common Nigeria or common Nigerian see, would this impact or would this be felt by a common Nigerian, like, okay, they borrowed so that things can be better?
You see, when a country borrows money, it's not necessarily to distribute to an average man on the streets.
But then let's invest.
What they do is to give the country an economic outlook. How do they see our country? 1, infrastructures. 2, and when you see things the current president is doing in terms of infrastructure, you understand the fact that if we borrow to actually do the right thing, it's not bad. But the only thing I do not really support is you borrowing money and people are asking you where exactly is the money you borrowed that you cannot explain. Look at the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. It's one major project that will link several states together and, of course, bring succor and relief to people on that axis. Meaning that from Calabar, you can go straight down to Lagos without stopping. So it tells you that, see, interconnectivity is has a lot to do with economy. So if 2 states are to have trade deals, just let me cite an instance. Lagos State went as far as Kebbi to plant rice.
Okay.
If there was a road that linked Lagos to Kebbi, so if you are bringing Lagos rice to, Kebbi rice to Lagos State, it means you are going straight down and automatically reduces cost of transportation, reduces stress, and so many other things that comes with it. So if the government is borrowing, you see, so many people complain about borrowing, but as they are borrowing, sometimes they are paying back. And if they are borrowing to actually fix a capital project, that will in turn bring, a level playing field, bring what we call an enabling environment for businesses to thrive, I think it is normal. But if it is a money for the election, a money to be siphoned, I don't think it is necessary. Just leave it that way. Let's run with what we have in Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Samson Balogun, for sharing your thoughts on the newspaper headlines this morning. Thank you so much. That has been insightful. Well, of course, we'll go on a break. When we return, we'll head straight to a big story. Of course, it's Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. Thank you so much for being part of us this morning. Good morning once again.
All right, good morning once again. Thank you for staying with us on Daybreak Live, and this is Big Story. Nigeria's political climate is undergoing yet another wave of turbulence, a clear sign that the journey to 2027 has already begun. Over the past 6 months, the nation's political terrain are seeing a series of dramatic realignment, from party defections to backroom alliance talks, to the rise of third force coalitions seeking to challenge the dominance of the traditional power blocs. Notably, Senator Ifeanyi Ubah's defection from the Young People's Party to the All Progressives Congress, APC, raised eyebrows, as did the sort of political rapprochement between Rabi Musa Kwankwanso and certain PDP element, despite a stronghold in the new Nigerian People's Party, NNPP. Meanwhile, internal tensions within the Labour Party have not stopped new entrants, including former APC and PDP loyalists, from positioning themselves within its ranks, signaling a possible reawakening of the 2023 momentum. Beyond individual movement, we are witnessing early signs of coalition building. Talks of a grand opposition alliance involving Labour Party, NNPP and PDP offshoots are growing louder. Groups like the Rescue Nigeria Project Coalition for a New Nigeria and other advocacy blocs are quietly working behind the scenes, pushing for a realignment of political forces under the promise of reform and national renewal. But this isn't Nigeria's first experience with coalitions or defections. What makes this wave different? Are these shifts driven by ideology, a hunger for true governance reform, or just another scramble for power wrapped in fresh slogans? As the 2027 election looms on the horizon, one thing is clear: the political chessboard is being reset and the players are already making their moves. And on that note, this morning we are looking at the topic, defections, coalitions, and what it makes for 2027 general elections. And I'm not alone in the studio this morning. I have with me Shehu Oluwole, a public affairs analyst, a commentator on national issues, and of course I have Temitope Ishola right here with me. Welcome aboard.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Welcome on board. He's also a public affairs analyst as well. And this morning I have quite a number of questions. But let's start, from the recent one that trended all through social media yesterday. I'm talking about, Governor Adeleke, who came out to say that, you see, I'm not going to jump ship to APC. Even though a lot of Nigerians are expecting him to jump ship. Why? Because there have been speculations online. Even people from the APC in Osun State are saying, even if you come to APC, it will not guarantee 2026 victory for you. But then he came out to say, you know what, I'm not going to leave PDP, I'm going to stay in PDP. Do you think his announcement that we are going to support President Bola Tinubu come 2027 will give him the victory that he desires in 2026? Let me start with you, Shehu Oluwole.
Thanks once again for having me this morning. Concerning Governor Adeleke.
Okay.
Now, this, I can put it as this way. The same thing played out in Oyo State during the last election.
Okay.
If you go back in history to understand what actually happened.
Okay.
Now, this was almost the same thing that happened with Governor Seyi Makinde, who wouldn't leave PDP for the APC, but still gathered enough votes to put his own weight behind the president, the coming one, the incumbent one now, okay. President Tinubu. Now, if you take a look at the votes then, the votes that the presidency gathered, that the president gathered from Oyo State with that of the governor in Oyo State were almost the same thing. So Adeleke now saying he has come out to now endorse President Tinubu.
Yes.
Now, his own chances, will it diminish his own chances or not? It will still increase his own chances.
Really, with the presence of strong APC members in that state?
As long as Adeleke, Governor Adeleke, can deliver for the incumbent presidency.
But that is it in 2027.
No matter what it is.
Okay.
He has said he is not defecting. Okay. I don't see him defecting. The best thing for him to do is to he's still one of the major players in the PDP, in the Southwest.
Yes.
Since it's a major force, he should stay there. He should stay in PDP. Going to APC wouldn't actually guarantee that he will have a second-term ticket in the APC. But looking at the game as it plays now, a lot of loyalists will come in to play for him with the PDP, in the PDP. Actually, the body talks says, oh, I'm supporting the presidency. I'm supporting the incumbent to have another stay in office. But my home ground, I'm still PDP. If he delivers for the presidency, mind you, the presidency will also deliver. This is Nigerian politics. Let's take a look at it. Let us put it on the table as it is.
Okay.
If he delivers for the incumbent will work for him. The central, the hub there, they will work for him. For the governorship, mind you, we always have the presidency first during the elections. We always have the elections that will come first is the presidency, followed by the governorship.
Okay.
So delivering from the presidency guarantees you a place in your governorship election. So whether you jump ship or you don't, all you have to do, and which he has done the right thing, is liaising with the power. PDP, to me, centrally has not, it's broken. That's the pieces already. Just like this point, Ibadan, with roofs looking like shattered China glass. That is what PDP has become. Rightly now.
But there are still big shots in PDP, regardless.
Let them hold forth first before they can talk. For Governor Adeleke to not talk, to not come out and say, I'm supporting Governor Tinubu, President Tinubu for a run in 2027, actually means Adeleke has not seen light in the coming presidency, the coming elections for the presidency concerning PDP. We will still hold PDP to build PDP. I won't go out of PDP, but I will support the incumbent presidency. So that's the clear sign that he has given to us. So whether he jump ship or whether he doesn't, he will still win his second. He will still have a second term.
Okay.
His popularity in Osun State is soaring day by day, even with his commitment towards the presidency and his own statement, commitment and loyalty to the PDP as at yesterday or this week. So I still see him having a strong hold of 90% or even 95% or even 100 or more in the Osun State elections, the coming elections.
Okay, thank you. Let me turn to Temitope. Don't you think this is a huge risk, looking at the fact that the battle is no longer between two major political parties? I'm talking about PDP and, of course, APC. But we now have the ADC. Recently, Aregbesola, went to the state, and, of course, a lot of persons followed him. I'm not saying that will amount to vote on the election day. But people are talking about the fact that Rauf is a very popular person in the state, a one-time governor. Don't you think, this game is trying to play, looking at the fact that presidential election is still in 2027. Osun State election is 2026. And of course, don't you think that maybe, President Bola Tinubu might still want to tilt a little bit towards, his people in Osun State? I mean, there's Oyetola there. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that is a very big possibility. I wanted to even start by saying that thanks to the ADC, that's the emergence of the ADC and, say, the Labour Party on a national scale, if not, the lines have become blurry now. We have kind of navigated to the thin lines or the borders of one-party states. Okay. Because it's unheard of up until now to find this sort of collaboration between the ruling party and the opposition party in Nigeria. They've always been that clear line that says, oh, this is where we belong to. But the last election has kind of made those lines blurry, where we see certain elements in one party advocating to support the other party for certain positions and maintain certain other positions for themselves. And looking at Governor Adeleke, I think Seyi Makinde has shown him the way. He did it in the last election, and it worked. I was privy to some information during that time, and it played out on election day itself, in the sense that the presidential election, the governor supported the president, although he didn't publicly announce, but if you are involved in the game, you would see those moves being made and those directions being given. And on the election day for the governorship election, it was clear. I had friends across the multiple political divide, and they were confirming to me that they got calls that morning from the top, and by the top means from the ruling party as APC at that time, telling them to all go out and support the governor. And that played out in the appointments being given, where Oloye Adelabu got the ticket, got the ministerial position. Basically, his votes and his men were directed to pour their votes for the governor. And that's why you could see some clear margin. And that's why the point you made earlier, that if you look at the votes demography context of both the governor for his election and the president, they seemed a bit alike. They basically just pulled forces together and work. So I think Adeleke has seen that and sees that it's a very possible thing. Although it's a dicey situation because Osun State is a very interesting state. Probably before Adeleke came in, we've seen the era of the Aregbes, we've seen how Oyetola has tried to hold sway, but Adeleke is not a small man. Both the election he lost, which many feel was rigged out, and the election that brought him in already shows that he's a very popular man in Osun State. So with or without this alliance, he could still pull it, but I think he just wants to have a free sway going into the elections. But that doesn't stop the APC from still coming out with their strong showing. That doesn't stop Aregbe in ADC to also try and take a pie out of it. So it's still open, and just like politics, interests are very at play. So he is looking at how can he make his own case, interest secured before he goes in. And why I said it's a very dicey situation also is that the PDP are also planning to zone, or are, according to rumors, are working to zone the presidential ticket for 2027 to the south. So, and rumors are that Governor Seyi Makinde would want to throw himself into the ring for that. So how is he going to manage that? Let's not also forget he can't leave the party. That's Governor Adeleke, simply because after Seyi Makinde, he's the most, I think, the highest ranking PDP governor from the south. So he is a king in his own right. He's sitting down in the southwest. So there are a lot of dynamics that may not seem so clear as we speak, but time would help us to see in what direction it's going to go. But based off what we can tell at this moment, I think Governor Adeleke is just trying to do his best to secure his own interest, and it's left to be seen how he's going to be able to convince the president that regardless that his election is coming up first, and regardless of the decision in PDP, he would still be able to deliver the goods for him come 2027.
All right, thank you. Let me turn to Sanwo-Oluwole. Please, let's talk about coalition now, because a lot of persons have said that, you know, we cannot compare what we have currently to what we had in 2014, 2015. And then, you know, I've listened to a lot of scholars, you know, say that, you know, can these people make the kind of sacrifice that those people did? Because let me make it more clearer. Someone even said, I watched an interview, a very popular person in Nigeria said, don't you think, you know, Tinubu would have contested in 2015, but he knew that he cannot use a southern candidate to unseat another southern candidate, and that was why he had to go pull Buhari from the north, and then with his popular 12 million vote, that was how they could, you know, unseat, you know, good Lord Jonathan. So would you think he's going to come up as the flag bearer? I'm linking two questions now. Do you think they have what it takes? Can they make some sacrifices? And who do you think is going to be the flag bearer, I mean, of this coalition, really?
Thank you very much. One thing that has always been funny to me is the issue of this coalition.
Okay.
Now, the interest of the people that are coming together to form this coalition, what is their major interest? Is it to try and put new strings together to make Nigeria a better place, or much more better than this? Is that their whole main interest, or is it just the hunger or the thirst to avenge their political disembarkment on this man, on a single person? There has been how do you call it? Dismembered,
okay,
from here and there, shattered in different places. I think what actually is forming the basis of this coalition is grievances against the present administration. Grievances of some sort that, oh, have not been treated fair enough in this administration. So I'm jumping ship. Just like a common old pirate that can jump ship, that can walk the plank at any point in time, that can, just like somebody who can renegade. They are all renegades.
So who do you think is the best person now to be the flag bearer?
Now, talking about this coalition,
Okay.
we have big people, big names like Atiku now,
Yes.
who has actually resigned from PDP. Now we can now say he has thrown his weight fully in the ADC, in the coalition. We still have the likes of Obi, who is still dilly-dallying on whether to go back to PDP, to go to Labour or to...
No, he's still in Labour.
He's still in Labour at present.
Yeah.
He's still in Labour, and he's still saying he doesn't believe in the Abure, dirty sort of agreement that wants to bring him in again, that he still doesn't believe in it. But he and Dirty, they don't have cracks. Who is fooling who? They don't have cracks, but yet you said you are not part to that, and some of them are saying, "Oh, we are not part to that leadership of the Labour Party." Now, that is concerning Labour. PDP has its own. We have members pulling out from the PDP trying to follow Atiku. Now, if we follow Atiku and SDP, someone coming into, what is their main interest? Is it for the interest of we Nigerians? Are we now, did Nigerians actually call for a coalition, or we call for a betterment of the situation of the common man? What are we actually calling for? For a coalition? Because if you actually ask the common man out there on the street, for things to get better, for we to have access to better infrastructures, for you to do that, what are they actually trying to promise us or to give us? Is it just to unseat that singular person and put themselves in power while they regress again? Or what? Because they have not actually shown us what is actually wrong. They are just saying Nigerians are not happy with this government. Nigerians are not happy with this government. Were we happy the other time? Are we going to be happy when they come in? Who are the sort of people coming in? We have the likes of Atiku, who told us years ago that during their tenure, they mismanaged $16 billion meant for the electricity project in Nigeria, and they couldn't do anything about it. And you want us to trust you again with your incoming leadership now, with another set of funding coming from wherever it's going to come from, with the Nigerian economy. So are you actually telling us this coalition will be better than this? When you are talking about coalition, take a look at what people actually need. It's not about me getting married, it's about the marital life. When you are talking about, you can get married, you can do a wedding, you can have a wedding of 4 million and divorce over a text message of 4 naira.
That's deep.
So
welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us. We apologize for that, breaking transmission. Of course, before we went on that, before that time out, I was speaking to Seun Oluwole and was talking about the fact that it does not seem to understand what the coalition members are trying to do, because is it just about unseating Tinubu or bringing better offers, to the people? So let me turn to Timmy, because when you mentioned Peter Obi, I discovered that, you had to turn, because it's like you have something to say about that. A lot of persons have come out to say that, to them, they don't think Obi is firm enough, to actually contest and then win an election. Why? Because he has not been able to tell Nigerians what he wants to do. Is he going to contest with the Labour Party or move permanently to the ADC? What do you think Obi is doing, really?
I think he's just being smart. When you want to play politics, or when you are playing politics in Nigeria, you can't show all your cards out. In a more stable and sensible political climate, like say the US, you can easily go all out from the very scratch and let everyone know where you are going, because you know that there are certain guardrails that prevent certain form of interference in your journey. All you just have to worry about is how to communicate your views, your visions to the electorate. But here, at every point in time, the system, the state tries to undermine you, tries to interfere with what you do. So you have to keep your cards close to your heart. And I think taking a look at the coalition talks, I think is the best, okay, don't let me call it the best chance. Let me say it's one of the chances and opportunities to actually unseat the ruling party. Using
which of the candidates?
So for me, I think unless the ADC or the coalition, let me use that word, because like I try to educate people, the ADC is a platform which the coalition feels they can run on. So not necessarily as per ADC. So I feel the coalition, if they are really serious about unseating the governor, of the president, Peter Obi is their best chance. And really? Why do I say so? It's the turn of the South, whether we like it or not. Nigeria has an unwritten agreement along the North and the South. One goes for 8 years, the other one takes the next 8 years.
But Goodluck Jonathan did just 1 term.
And which was one of the reasons that fueled that coalition at that time. And that the coalition at that time was able to mobilize the North against him, using that unspoken agreement that he ought to have just completed that 4 years and step aside so that another person from the North continues.
But Atiku is in the picture, and I don't think he's going to relent. He still wants to contest.
My problem with the Atiku generally is that he's not tactful and he's not a smart politician. The difference between him and Tinubu, for instance, because these are the two longest players in the game, the difference between them is that one is tactful enough to calculate and strategize. The other is just bullish about his plans. And that is what has brought us to this point. I keep saying it to people. I said, delayed gratification is what Atiku doesn't have. All he needed to do is wait 4 years, mobilize the North to support Jonathan, and the party would have been his. He would have even done his 8 years and long forgotten. There would have been no reason why a Buhari would have come in or a Tinubu would have come in. But the fact that he did not calculate well enough would fracture the party, the PDP, took out 5 governors, announced the new PDP, went into the talks of a coalition with that formed the APC, and he got nothing and he ran back into the PDP, already fractured. He's doing the same thing again. His spokespersons and people within his camps keep on pushing this narrative that it's only the North that can defeat Tinubu, which is very false.
Okay, are you saying that if the PDP had allowed Peter Obi run in 2023, he would have won against Tinubu?
He would have won because prior before that time, even before the emergence of APC about 8 years in 2015, PDP is the largest political party in Africa. Well-rooted, well-structured, well-organized, very deeply rooted. And the 8 years of Buhari was not enough to have cleaned all of that work. There were still big wigs in the North, powerful men in the North. All PDP still needed to do was give him the ticket, which is by, maybe not give him the ticket, let's say zone it to the South. That's the right word to use. Zone it to the South. And the South has always backed the PDP. The East have always backed the PDP since 1999. All the party needed to do was return that favor for just 8 years and still continued that with it. But zoning it back to the north was what fractured the party. That's what gave birth to the Wike nuisance up and down and a lot of other things. If they had done the needful, and that's where I used to advocate for strong institutions and not strong men. What happened in the PDP, and which is evident in many other parties, is the reign of strong men. So everyone had to do what Atiku wanted because he had the money, the dollars, and the likes. If it was a proper, strong institution in place, they would have been able to tell themselves within the party that, hey, the North has done theirs, it's the turn of this, and stick to it, not trying to now adjust the party. So, but talking about the coalition, there is no rift between Dati and Peter Obi. I had to go watch the press conference again yesterday from beginning to the end, not just headlines. And from conversations, statements, and positions being taken, when I looked at those on the table, they were purely Obi's men.
You think there's a rift between these two people?
The leadership of the party itself should call themselves to order, because if the leadership is still having issues, which Obi think should have gone back to this other person, not the Abure-led person. Now, Abure has already been sacked by the Supreme Court. Why is Abure now not trying to? I think a party structure, like he said, institutions are much more stronger than wills of the strong men that are in that political terrain. It should be much stronger than them. So when we have a judgment that has been carried out, okay, this is the rightful leadership of the party, and while some are saying, no, we can't go with that, we will go with this, we go with that, then there's a fraction that we are not looking at. Whether they are not saying the truth, they are playing to the cameras or whatever it is they are saying publicly and giving their opinions publicly that, oh, we are not at all, we are not at daggers drawn or something. But internally, you know, there are cracks. There are some terms you are still not coming to terms with. And that is not put aside. Then you still have a larger problem inwards. When you are not looking inward, you are just telling people you are playing to the gallery. Oh, we are okay. It is not okay. It is not yet whole with your party, with you people. Put things in order. Obi is not actually telling us he is going with. I
think Obi had made it clear.
It has made it clear that I'm not leaving Labour Party.
He's going to be in Labour Party.
But
and it was
this leadership, I'm not okay with it.
But really, you know, I think you have said that you think Obi's been smart about the fact that he doesn't want to talk about his next move. But a lot of Nigerians, they are eager to know what is your plan?
Okay, so
where do you want to stay?
He said something. He said
then
something
let us start working on it. Okay. Tinubu has always given us his own hazard. Okay. And he has always told us, way back then, he has always come out to say, I know people that will be against me later. I know people that will stay with me. All this outburst of Aregbe and everything, it doesn't seem to be moved because he saw it coming. He already saw it coming. All these coalitions, everything coming together, he saw it coming. That's why he said, Tinubu is much more, the president you are trying to unseat is much more tactful and skillful, more than you people coming together. When I said aggrieved people, it's not that they actually have the interest of Nigerians at heart. They are just aggrieved just to unseat one man.
Okay, you have a counter opinion.
But to balance that, I think one of the reasons why the coalition is in the state it is of lack of clarity, and even from Peter Obi, is strictly because he is of the view that his own intention for coming out to contest is to make things better, good governance. But he's wary of the fact that certain persons are trying to take advantage of the numbers and the support he has.
That he has.
To just unseat the government, which is why he kept saying it over time and time that he is not interested in a coalition that all that they are concerned about is to unseat Tinubu. That all he needs is all these conversations.
But he said, there was a time I watched a video where he said, I am part of the coalition.
No, obviously. So, you know, the way the coalition is basically, as long as you're not in government, they will invite you You are regarded, I think there are about maybe 80-something political parties. If you are not in the ruling party, the remaining 87 are opposition. So what the coalition is doing is bringing together everyone that isn't in government, in quotes basically, to come together and discuss how they can unseat. So he is basically saying, as much as I have no problem with you all, as per, we all have the intentions as our existence as political parties and opposition members, which is seeking to form the government of the state to execute your party's policy or manifesto or ideology. He still believes that that should not just be the essence of why they come together to contest. And if you look at the narrative or the structure of the ADC, he can't go and commit himself to the party. And I said something yesterday that with the way the 2015 coalition was formed, there was a clear understanding of who gets what and even the manifestos prior before the announcement of APC or the formation of APC officially. The coalition currently has not done that yet. So he can't say he's moving out of the Labour Party into the ADC just because he has been
Let's look forward
in the
to how this will play out. But before we go, just 10 seconds or 15, if you like, the 12 million popular vote of former president that passed recently, where do you think it will go? Looking at the fact that we have big wigs, I mean, in the north, El-Rufai, Kwakwansu, what do you think?
I think it will be chattered.
Really?
It will be chattered. They can't get it in lump sum anymore.
What about you?
It can never be. It can never be. I still see the ruling party coming together as many as over 7 million votes. But the 12 million votes, now, with all this playing out, it's not going to go to a singular party anymore. It's not going to go to a single
across
because it is going to be spread.
It was even evident in the last election.
It's evident.
No party had 12 million votes.
So
obviously.
It's not going to be.
Thank you for being a part of the program, Shewoluwole, Public Affairs Analyst, and of course, Temitope Shola, also a Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you for joining Daybreak News and of course, big story this morning. All right, this is where we say BYE, the political chessboard has been rearranged, night and moving, pawns are shifting, and the game towards 2027 has officially begun. But the big question remains, are these moves in the interest of the people or just a rebranding of the same old politics? As Nigeria watches with keen eyes, one thing is certain, the countdown to 2027 has started and is going to be one heck of a ride. Keep your eyes open, your mind sharp, and your PVC is ready. My name is Oluwayemi Adelak. I'm saying good morning. All right, we welcome you back. It's still Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. And of course, I'm not alone in the studio. I have with me Pat Aita back on board.
Yes, I'm very much here. Yeah, we welcome you to Trend Watch. And the program, Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. Well, we'll have this one. We're still talking about Senator Natasha being denied access to the National Assembly. Well, there are comments here. We'll just go through the comments. And,
yes,
of
please.
course, the first one here is Red Butterfly _1. They fear her. That's why they can't stand our one-on-one. I love this. Our bravery endeared her to Nigerians.
Really, I don't see it as if they fear her, because I mean, she's a very fearless person. I mean, she's very firm, but then I still feel like, you know, the Senate is just trying to say that, you know what, if you don't do what you are supposed to do, you are not coming in.
Exactly. We want to stay to you. Well, we have this one from Dayo Ogedengbe saying, all the stress on this armless woman. Nigerians, political rulers always forget the power is transient. One day, either they leave power or power leaves them. I mean, that's certain. You can't rule forever. That's certain. We do hope that, you know, Natasha and the Senate will find, I mean, a common ground to settle all of these issues, because I mean, it's not LD. I mean, what we other women, young women who are aspiring to become senators, somebody like think about. If I go there, it's going to be war. Well, the last time I saw something like this was during the scaling of the National Assembly fence, when some senators actually jumped over. When I'm saying that was the last time I saw drama at the National Assembly gates, but like you said, they should have a common ground to settle all these issues. Exactly. Well, away from that, there's a big congratulations to our Super Falcon and then President and the wife of Mr. President. That's talking about Senator Oluremi Tinubu, saying that I commend you, our credible Super Falcons, for your victory over South Africa and the semi-finals of the Women Africa Cup of Nations Championship. Well, we'll say a big congratulations, because it was who won yesterday.
The comments are so funny. Nigerians can be very funny. I think this comment is coming from Okako Dumodu. This person says, don't spread bad luck to the girls. They have been doing well without your congratulations. Really?
Well, of course, Mr. President, talking about Mr. President Bola Tinubu, said, go girl, go bring the trophy home.
I don't think congratulations can, you know, can turn to bad luck for anybody, really, but Nigerians will definitely comment, obviously. Another comment coming from Ifai saying, please start engaging the president for a befitting reward when they come home with the trophy. Hopefully we will win the cup. I mean, that's the goal. If they win, I mean, it's a pride. And of course, I want to believe that they will be duly, you know, rewarded for that. And we look forward to that, really.
All right, and on that note, remember that you can join our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominiencast. And of course, you can watch us live, interact with us on www.dominion.org.ng. Well, this is the convenient point for us to say our BYE and appreciate you for being our companion since the beginning of the program. I mean, we started from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Thank you so much for being there. I am Pat Aito.
And of course, don't forget to join us tomorrow as well, same time, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And of course, we're going to bring you more interesting topics to talk about. Keep your hopes high. My name is Luwayemi Adela. Good morning.